And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending time with us here on the program. We got a lot of stories to get to. We got Jared Parker joining us. He is an economist, regional economic consulting group. We have Ray Hall joining us as well, Ray Hall Appraisals. And some interesting stories, really interesting stories. We're going to talk about that state property tax debate, what's happening there. We're going to get an update from Jared on that, get some of his opinions on what might happen. Also, CFO Blazing Goya just announcing arrest of a property claims adjuster arrested. And you have, again, we talk about this waste, fraud, and abuse. How are we going to pay for these cuts? Well, this is $1.7 million by this public adjuster, claims adjuster, basically fraudulently creating claims in one of the local municipalities. Also, Grok, Elon Musk's Grok, it's his version of AI. It's based, he says. It's when you ask the question, is America on stolen land? Find out what the difference in answers, the variety of answers that you have between Grok, ChatGPT, Gemini, and another one. So we'll get into that as well. Also, sad news. We have my uncle Joseph Catano. He was a former Tampa City Council member, councilman here in Tampa Bay. He just recently passed, and it was nice of the mayor, Jane Castor, to put out a post about him. So rest in peace, Uncle Joe. We'll put that on the screen, Dave. Uncle Joe passed away. Joseph Catano, he's on the school board for a while. He ran for city council. He was on the council. And Jane Castor put out a post. Sorry to hear the loss of former city councilman Joseph Catano, a.k.a. Mr. New Tampa. I know he will be missed by many across Tampa, and especially within our new Tampa community, lifting his loved ones up in prayer. So that was nice of the mayor, Jane Castor, to put that out. So we appreciate that. And, he lived a good life, 92 years old. So that's a great life there. He had a very successful business. He was a Marine and just a great man up there in the new Tampa area. So, and we'll get into some other topics as well. Marco Rubio's got a couple great quotes we want to talk on, touch base on, and really kind of zero in, too, since we have an expert in studio, Jared Parker, relating to the state property tax. Jared, give us a little teaser of what we're going to talk about today.
I think we're going to go over property tax. We're going to look a little bit of higher ed. We've done a little bit of work there. And just follow up on some of the other stuff.
Yeah, higher education, some more interesting stuff there that Jared's going to bring, because you spent some time in Tallahassee and kind of bringing these ideas down. Okay, good stuff. Before we do, we'll jump into a couple of hot listings here. We always like to feature our real estate listings live on air, part of a strategy to help our sellers sell faster for more money with less headaches. We've got a couple of hot listings here. Let's start with one of our newer ones. This one is 2488 Del Rio Way, Dunedin. We got a beautiful home, completely remodeled, updated, just perfectly designed. Well done. Beautiful on the interior. Got that lighter color. Got some really interesting elements in this home. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage, 1,400 plus square feet. This one's close to the Dunedin Causeway, Pinellas Trail, Honeymoon Island. 2488 Del Rio Way in Dunedin. Fenced-in backyard. Gorgeous remodel. You got to see this one if you're in the market in Tampa Bay. We got another listing here at 14135 Cypress Circle. Beautiful listing here in Carrollwood, one of the most highly sought-after areas in all of Tampa Bay. Carrollwood Village. This is Cypress Clusters at Carrollwood Village. We have a 222 right here. It's 1,308 square feet. Community pool. Beautiful updates on the inside. Stainless steel appliances. Gorgeous property at 14135 Cypress Circle. Another one of our beautiful listings. We've got about 40 current listings, about 12 or so vacant land listings. We got some commercial listings sprinkled in there. And you can see all of our real estate listings and search the MLS on our website at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And you can see all of our radio and TV show expert contributors at consumerqb.com.
He's just made in America.
By the way, we had our first million view post that went viral here. That's a really cool achievement, and really cool to see that. 45,000 plus likes, over 1 million views, close to 1.1 million views now. So real excited. So if you haven't followed us on social, check it out, man. We're putting out some really good content, a lot of cool shorts, so you don't have to watch the full 48-minute show like my old producer would do. And now that we've got Dave in here, we're knocking out a bunch of shorts, putting those shorts out there, making it look good, and giving, delivering what people want. People want those quick little hits and, information. So at Brandon Rimes 1, at CQB Show, YouTube channel, Consumer Quarterback Show out there as well. And Jared Parker back in studio with us, man. What you been up to? How are things going?
Oh, great. It's been a fun start of the year. It's been a little bit of a wild session so far. I think we're 7 weeks in.
Yeah, man.
Coming to the home stretch at the end of first week. Should end the first Tuesday of March.
So much goes on behind the scenes in politics, man. The more I've been kind of on the side here, I almost ran for county commission and, here Pinellas, but I'm on the sidelines and I'm hearing all these different things from different people. I got people kind of saying, hey, watch out for this. Check out this. What about the governor's race? You got Donald's. You got, multiple people. I've got a clip that I'm going to play from a Florida governor candidate. But Jay Collins is kind of one of the front runners. Who do you see as the front runner?
I mean, right now it's probably Donald's.
Yeah.
But I know Collins is really DeSantis' successor, and we're early, so anything can change.
Yeah.
I mean, especially here. I mean, a lot of candidates, they'll either, in case of Donald's, he announced way back, almost a year ago now, I think. And Collins kind of got in a little bit later. But, I mean, as we get into the summer months, as this thing gets really, once you get into those last 30 days, you're really going to see the race flesh out as to who's there.
Here's what the other candidate, Fishbach, I think he's somewhat of an outsider. I don't think he's going to win it. But
I am proud to announce that I will pass the Mamdani tax, $50,000 property transaction tax for any out-of-state individual who wants to buy single-family real estate here in Florida.
Yeah, he goes on to say, hey, we're not a refugee camp. You can't just come out from New York and come down here and expect. So he's saying, hey, $50,000 on the transaction to buy a single-family home. That's a relevant idea, man. They're coming down. They're straining our systems. We are somewhat full. I mean, the infrastructure's been strained. It's something like, what was it, 800,000 new residents over the last 5 years.
Well, we get about 1,000 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Even now with the slowdown, we're still probably clipping at about 900 a day, and that number is probably going to be about 800 a day by the end of the decade. So you're talking massive amounts of people coming down. Infrastructure has lagged. I mean, he's 100% right on that. The problem he has with that is there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through to get the groups like the legislature to even be willing to propose something like that.
Yeah.
Because if you do cut those people off, that's all our economic growth.
Yeah.
Right. Every time a new body comes here and they're making, especially from up north, they're making a six-figure salary. Mm-hmm. That's $100,000 plus. That's being spent locally. That's being spent on local businesses, local establishments. It's like, do we want to stop that? I don't know.
No, it's interesting too, man. And also in the state of Florida now, when the property tax conversation comes up, you have the typical question is, how are you going to pay for it?
Correct.
Well, I got an idea. How about we start cutting out more of this?
Yeah. So the person who went to jail, who was arrested, is actually a claims adjuster, and she recruited other people within state government and other people outside of state government to put in bogus claims. So they were saying that they hit a pothole and they had about $15,000 to $16,000 worth of damage. And when the claim came in, she actually pulled it from the pool herself and assigned herself as the adjuster. Approved the payment, gave it to the person that she recruited, and then split the money after the fact. That's what she was doing. Did it 220 times over 3 years to the tune of $1.7 million.
So we've already uncovered about $2 billion of wasteful spending, fraudulent spending. And by the way, that was Broward County. In case you wonder where most of the fraud comes from, Dade, Broward County, right? I mean, Palm Beach County. You typically see a lot of fraud down there, a lot of that activity. But what do you think, man? Pretty crazy, huh?
Oh, yeah. No, in this whole debate, I mean, there are definitely some bad actors that do themselves absolutely no favors when you're trying to talk about property tax. I mean, and like you said earlier, it's $18 billion that the state needs to find if they want to do this. And I think that's going to provide a really big challenge for any kind of policy to get through. And when you're looking at, because right now, up in Tallahassee, we're looking at a slowdown in revenue going forward. And let's say take the called fiscally constrained counties, so your rural counties, a lot of those, it's about $300 million would replace their property tax loss if they agreed to exempt homestead properties.
Yep.
That's a check the state could probably write, but then when you start getting outside of that fiscally constrained, you're talking $17.7 billion that the state would have to find in a tight budget year. It's going to be hard. So I think what we're probably going to see, there's about 3 proposals outstanding right now. One's a 10-year phase out. The other one's a $200,000 exemption with property insurance. As kind of like a property insurance.
Is that on top of the current exemption?
It'd be on top of the current one.
Okay.
And then the third one is they cap the assessment increases.
Yes.
So every year, they get, right now I think it's 3% or CPI, and typically inflation's been lower than 3%. So your property tax bill goes up about 1% under that cap. And anyhow, they want to cap it, I think, at 3% every 3 years.
Yeah.
So it comes out to like 1% per year.
I saw something like that.
I just, again, it's the appetite of the legislature. The Senate doesn't have anything right now, and that doesn't mean they can't have something by the end of session. They could find a House idea that they like and just completely copy it and pass it through both chambers.
Yeah.
But I really think when you're talking about tighter budgets going forward and the legislature having to find money, you've got new leadership coming in. You have a new governor coming in. None of them want to find money for their ideas that they might have cooking on the back burner right now that they want to bring to the table here in a session or two.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of politics. It'll be interesting to see what gets through.
It will be. And there's other states that are looking at similar.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Nebraska's looking at it.
Yeah.
And I know, everybody wants, there's a lot of affordability issues right now. And we're trying, people are acting in the right way to try to figure out ways to alleviate that stress.
Yeah.
It's just everybody's got a different idea how to do it.
Yeah.
And we're going to see how those ideas compete and what actually gets through. Something's going through. I just don't know what it is.
I'd love to see it just wiped out and forced to cut. Let's force some cuts. Let's see where they cut. You have to make cuts.
Oh, certainly.
There's so much spending, but I kind of see where a 10-year phase out could be applicable. Bernie Jacques, the local rep, sent me some of the different. But I just hope it's one bill. You got to have one bill on the ballot because it's got to get 60%. You can't water it down with all these different versions, right?
Correct. Yeah, they're going to have to get it through, and once it passes the floor, both chambers, it then goes to the amendment process.
Yeah,
and that'll be a whole other campaign that's going to start.
All right, I want to get to a lot of topics here. Jared Parker on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brandon Rimes, I'm your host, Consumer Quarterback Show. Keller Williams Realty. Parent of the Year. This dad stormed out of work on a mid-shift, and he says, hey, look, what's going on? I have to leave work to come down here and check up on my kid. He walks out, Parent of the Year. This dad stormed out of work mid-shift to yank his kid from school after they hosted an anti-ICE walkout. I have to leave work while I'm at work. I have to worry about what you guys are manipulating my kids. He says it's BS. That was a post from a social media influencer, Graham Allen. But yeah, you see this kind of thing happening. And we just interviewed the sheriff on the show, Bob Gualtieri, and one of our viral videos that went viral was where I asked him about ICE. And he says, the difference between Florida and Minnesota is that we can go in the jails and get them out. We'll get the bad people out. Duh. It's a pedophile. He did a rape. He committed murder. He's, whatever he did, she or he did, let's get him out of our country.
Right.
Now if you force us in the streets, you're going to have collateral damage.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge, right?
That's absolutely one of the many.
One of the many. Here's another one. We got a bunch of woke programmers out there. Elon Musk, he says Grok 4.0 is based. I guess that's kind of a later little slang term for on point or down to earth or whatever. Is the only AI that doesn't equivocate when asked if America is on stolen land. Do we have this, Dave? The Grok. So here's the question. Is America on stolen land, right? And you're going to ask AI the question. Okay, so you're going to get 4 different answers if you ask. So first of all, I'll read Grok here. So no, the United States is not simply on stolen land. That framing is a modern rhetorical slogan, oversimplifies thousands of years of human history, layered claims of territory, legal doctrines, treaties, warfare, migration, demographic collapse. Every square inch of an inhabitable land on Earth has changed hands through conquest, migration, purchase, or displacement multiple times. Long before 1492, and I think that's when, what's his name, sailed the ocean blue, right? Columbus. Everywhere on the planet. The U.S. is not not uniquely illegitimate, follows the same patterns of China, Turkey, Mexico, Egypt, United Kingdom, and any other nation state. Now, if you ask ChatGPT, you get a little different answer. So what's going on here? Okay, short answer, yes. much of the land is now the United States is taking. I'm stop reading when you say yes, guy. You know, you're woke and you're telling me and you're brainwashing people. So the United States was taken through conquest, coercion, broken treaties, forced removal of indigenous people. Long answer is more complicated than a single label like stolen, but the historical record is clear. This injustice is dispossession, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, that's straight from Harvard, you know. And what about the Louisiana Purchase? I mean, we purchased that land. And I remember seeing also, you know, the Pilgrims giving money to the natives and them sharing ideas. Here's how you grow. You know, you put the fish in the hole and you put the seed in there and then... Go ahead, Jared.
Well, I mean, that's the problem with AI to begin with. I am not one of these people that's super optimistic on how much easier AI makes the world or makes your life. Because right there, you ask it one question, you get 4 different answers.
Yep.
And now you need an extra person there to sift through which of those answers is closest to correct.
Yeah.
And that problem is only going to get worse.
Yeah.
It creates a lot of clutter. And, I mean, even if you have something, you have the political side, but even a practical side when it comes to asking it how to do basic processes.
Yeah.
You can ask the same question 2 different ways, get 2 different answers from one AI platform. And that's something that it's relying on the internet. There's a lot of garbage on the internet.
Yeah.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
And until they fix that problem, AI is going to be one of those nifty parlor tricks, I think, going forward.
Nifty what?
Parlor tricks.
Okay.
You know, just like something you can sit there and say, hey, look what I can do.
Yeah, yeah.
And
it has some purpose. I mean, we use it in certain things. Like our show, we cut up the content. Pretty good purpose for that. Yeah. It gives us, here's an idea or here's a thought. You know, this we changed from this topic to that topic. Let's post it. I love that part of it. We're coming right into break here, Jared. So Jared Parker, Regional Economic Consulting on the Consumer Quarterback Show. You can see all of our expert contributors at consumerqb.com. Coming up, out of the UK, ex-Prince Andrew arrested on suspicion of misconduct. So interesting stuff happening relating to the Epstein files. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rimes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Did you know that we buy houses cash? We can close quickly for a all-cash offer on your real estate properties, residential, commercial, even vacant land. We'll buy your property cash. No cleaning, no showings, and no hassles. You can even possibly stay in your home post-closing. Call Brandon at 813-917-1894. Submit the email at consumerqb.com or call 813-917-1894. consumerqb.com. We buy houses cash and fast.
Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, the official Pinellas County restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Doug Clark, chef and owner. Doug Clark, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance. Say hello to our friend Doug Clark. If you're facing an insurance claim, don't just trust the insurance company to have your best interests at heart. This is Brandon Rimes, Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to rightwaypa.com, our friend Derek Coble at rightwaypa.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rimes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show. Jared Parker in studio with us. He's a economist here, Regional Economic Consulting Group. We're going to talk with him. Got a couple stories I want to get to also. One of our hot listings here. We always feature our listings. If you're buying, selling, investing, refinancing, we would love to work with you. 12948 Twin Bridges Drive in Riverview. Beautiful property. I love this home. It's a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 3-car garage, open floor plan, split floor plan as well, split layout there. Gorgeous, updated, everything's new in this home. I mean, it's gorgeous. Lighter color, kitchen cabinetry, beautiful tile flooring. You got a nice lanai there in the back with an outdoor living room. Beautiful property, 12948 Twin Bridges Drive, Riverview, Florida. 460 48th Street, St. Petersburg. Another awesome listing. This one is a great opportunity to buy real estate here in Tampa Bay. This one is on 48th Street South. It's 3.2. You got 1477 square feet. This is a block home, move-in ready, turnkey opportunity. You've got nice curb appeal there, ceramic tile flooring, stainless steel appliances. You got wood in the bedrooms there, beautiful wood flooring in the bedrooms, and a nice layout, split floor plan, upgrades in 2022. You got a roof and a fully paid off solar panels there. No HOA fee or flood insurance. 460 48th Street South, St. Petersburg. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com, and you can see all of our radio and TV show expert contributors, consumerqb.com.
This is God's country.
All right, so it's interesting to see, this Epstein files. You got UK, out of the UK just hit, ex-Prince Andrew arrested on suspicion of misconduct. What do you mean suspicion? I mean, he's named in these things. He's identified as, partner, in basically in some of the files, and essentially, so I'd love to see this trickle down hit a lot of the other big names. I don't want to say too many big names here on the show, but I would love to see some of these people have that accountability, because you have these people that are in this elite class and they just look at us as serfs. They look down at us, and they want to manipulate the children. And it's just pretty crazy though, because we live in the world, the internet, as we were saying earlier. It's the great equivalent. It's the great equalizer. Hey, it's on the internet. You can find it. It's researchable. And now people are starting to pay the price. Jared, any comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time that there's ever been corruption, and it's especially as much as this scandal's blowing up. I mean, there has to be some sort of political ramification, just from an operational standpoint for us going forward. I mean, you can't continue to do business as normal when you have something that's on scale of Watergate or bigger, and it's at what point you see everybody else around the world reacting to it. At what point do we react to it? So that'll be another one of those interesting things to keep watching. I mean, there's just so much going on right now.
Yeah, it is. I got a quick clip from Rubio, too, man. He really kicked butt last week at this conference.
The president views the last 40 years as an era of which American workers and American farmers have been ripped off. They've been ripped off, and what he's saying is we want to have trade with the world, but it has to be a trade in which American businesses and American workers and the products they make and what American farmers grow and produce.
That's right. So over the years, how many presidents didn't take action, didn't make things equal? We got ripped off with all these foreign trade deals, offshoring our manufacturing. We're bringing it back, baby. There's lots of manufacturing coming back. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I think NATO, I got lots of thoughts on this one. But you go back far enough, okay, let's say into the Cold War, the world changed. And I think we tried to operate in a framework that we assumed that, our existing relationship and the economic viability, the economic benefits we gave to Europe to be able to counter the Soviets was just, once the Soviets disappeared, people didn't know what to do. So they just kept with the status quo. And eventually that system is not going to work. And I think now we're finding out that we're entering a new world of competitive multipolar powers. Yeah. And it's, how do you adjust? How do you adapt going forward?
Yeah.
And that's a question we need to answer.
Yeah, bring it back. Bring the manufacturing back. Build America. America first. Western Hemisphere. We saw that with the Venezuela situation. Jared Parker, thanks for coming in, man. Folks, you can check him out online, regionaleconomicconsulting.com. That's Jared Parker, longtime friend of the show. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Coming up, Ray Hall Appraisals on the Consumer Quarterback Show. A little bit more about the local market, what's happening here. He's an appraiser. He does it every day for a living. He's looking at real estate properties. He's putting a value, he's assigning a value to residential, vacant land, commercial properties. Quick break right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rimes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, thanks for hanging with us. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in any marketplace, buying, selling, investing, or refinancing. Rates have dropped actually a little bit too. You might want to look at a refinance. We can help you with that. Reach out to the show. We got Ray Hall joining us here. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams and Ray Hall is a longtime friend of the show. Ray Hall Appraisals, and he can help you put a value on your residential, vacant land, commercial properties. And a couple of hot listings. We'll jump right into it. We'll talk about some of the things happening in the real estate market here in Tampa Bay and throughout the Gulf Coast here. We got 7154 Shoreline Boulevard. Yes, we have the Weeki Wachee Marina for sale. This is a $3 million listing. Great opportunity to buy a business waterfront. You got 3 parcels on the water. This is Weeki Wachee River. Access to the Gulf, multiple income streams, and a Suzuki servicer as well. So you have your motorboat repair business there also. Multi-flexibility with this property income, and you got possibility for new ventures. 3/4 of an acre lot. 7154 Shoreline Boulevard, Weeki Wachee, Florida. Right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Commercial property from the Platinum MVP team. 9914 Ala Vista Drive, Gibsonton, Florida. Another great opportunity here in Tampa Bay. This one is a just under $1 million listing, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1922 square feet, elevated stilt home that sits at the end of a quiet street on a large waterfront lot. Now, you're just off the canal here with access to the Gulf of America. You have spacious kitchen, breakfast bar, abundant lighting. This one also has boat docks. You've got a covered boat dock with a 12,000-pound boat lift, so you can bring your boat, and you can also bring your jet ski. You've got a 1,000-pound jet ski lift as well, fully solar-powered with updated panels. And you also have a metal roof, standing 50-year galvanized standing seam metal roof, hurricane shutters, professional landscape. Lots of updates and upgrades to talk about. You can see all of our listings on our website at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And you can see all of our radio and TV show expert contributors at consumerqb.com.
And yeah, I'm raising my glass to those saving our ass overseas.
All right, that's right. Shout out to our troops, our veterans, everybody out there. We love you. We love our military. And Ray Hall back on the show. Ray Hall Appraisals. How's the new year treating you, my friend?
So far so good. This is kind of the slow time of the year, so it's usually when we, kind of regroup and plan for the year and, kind of start our approaches, do our education, and get ready for the busy spring that we always have.
Yeah, man. What you seeing out there in Sard values? Values holding firm?
Yeah, they are. I think, a lot of people are expecting those rate drops in May. I know you just mentioned that, mortgage rates have come down a little bit. A lot of times they start pricing, kind of ahead of the time for those rate drops. So, I think that's also contributed to some of the slowdown we've had for the beginning of the year is, I think people are looking forward to being able to refinance and drop some of those costs every month. And I think we're going to have a good 2026 when the new Fed chairman takes over.
Yeah, man, I do too. I think that's a big deal. You also have, let's just talk about some of the things that the president has done to make the economics better, to make those equations come in. And then also what DeSantis has done here in Florida. We got insurance improving. A lot of insurances are dropping. I was able to work with Danny White, our insurance expert contributor. I saved some money on insurance. You also have tax-free access now to 401ks. You'd have to wait till a certain age to be able to access that. Now you can. A lot of people are getting higher tax refunds. Also, the end to institutional investors. Here's a quick clip of the president talking about that.
Homes are built for people, not for corporations, and America will not become a nation of renters.
That's what a lot of the elite class wants. They want us to become renters. They want us to become dependent on the government, dependent on landlords. But no, we want to own our property. We have property rights. We have God-given natural rights that was afforded to us by the Creator, the Lord and Savior, not a government. So you have BlackRock, institutional investors, no longer able to participate in buying up single-family homes. That's going to be huge. You have, possibility. There have been talks about a 50-year mortgage. Will that help, with some of the financing, the affordability factor? You have so many different things. It goes all the way down to the illegals being deported. I think it's been a couple million already that have been sent back to their countries before they broke into our open borders. So all those positive things adding up, Ray, I think we're looking. The word is optimistic, right? I'm optimistic about that.
Yeah, nothing is guaranteed. We see that all the time. A lot of good ideas. There is a process to executing those good ideas. But we always, especially, you and I being in the real estate business, we always hope for the best and, what helps our clients, and what helps, our families. That's kind of why I get up every day. That's what we're looking forward to. So, hopefully these things, if they are able to do away with property taxes in Florida, I think that would help a lot of people. And it would make, home ownership a lot more affordable. Yeah. I know personally I have a CDD that's on top of my home property taxes. And, that's a pretty big bill every year. Can you
explain what that is? I mean, a CDD essentially, as I understand it, is where the developer just comes in, puts up a bond, and they say, hey, instead of us paying for this, why don't we put it on the end consumer, right?
Yep. I'm trying to think of it's an acronym, Community Development
District.
District, sorry.
Yeah.
And that it basically is what you just said. They took out a loan to pay for some things, and now the interest on that loan is transferred to the residents of that community, and they're paying off the loan for the developer.
Yep.
You'll find some communities that don't have a CDD fee, but they've become very popular. They are pretty common, and if you want to live in what's called a planned unit development, which is, communities with the gates and all that other stuff, a lot of times you are going to be subject to that community development district, especially if it's a newer neighborhood. Older neighborhoods, possibly not. Maybe those loans have gone away and they've been paid off, but they are pretty common and they're really all over the place.
Yeah, what's interesting, too, speaking about HOAs and CDDs, is that one of our posts, we just had a post that hit 1 million views in less than 3 days. It's already over 1 million views and 45,000 likes, hundreds of shares, thousands of likes, or reshares. Essentially, it was about a HOA that pulled a car. They basically towed a car out of the driveway, and they said, it had a flat tire, it had some faded paint, and the owner came to the judge and said, Judge, that was a $185,000 Buick something or other. Do you remember the type of car, Dave, by chance? It was a Buick, whatever, 3 letters. And he says, that's a $185,000 vehicle. And the judge got so upset and dropped it down. Yeah, Grand National or something. And anyway, so, HOAs, man, they got a bad name. You get that Napoleon syndrome out there in some cases. But they do serve a purpose on the other hand as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this was said to me once, and now that I'm in an HOA, it rings true. It's fine if you know what the rules are. You go in there knowing there's rules. You follow the rules. It's not too bad. Everybody's house stays fairly nice. You don't have that problem. I remember my first house, the neighbors across the street had a car dealership, and it was like they had to take their work home with them every day because the whole front yard was like a car dealership.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen in an HOA. So, you go into them knowing the rules, and, it's fine. And it makes for a really, beautiful neighborhood, and it's just keeps for a nice place to come home to.
Yeah, you don't have Billy Bob with his cars on blocks out in the front there working on his Chevy, changing out the transmission in the driveway or whatever.
Well, I was doing my brakes in the driveway a couple of weekends ago, and my neighbors were looking at me like I was funny.
Hey, man, save some money.
I I know how to do it. So
There you go.
I'll go ahead and take advantage.
Exactly. Yeah. Ray Hall Appraisals, Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rimes. Annual core inflation slows the most in nearly 5 years as well. Consumer prices rose 2.4% on an annual basis in January. The Bureau of Labor Statistics said Friday, less than economists had expected. We're seeing the same thing across the board. Food prices coming down. Of course, gasoline now, I think it's something like 18 states, less than $2 a gallon. So things are looking good, and even in terms of economic numbers. You're seeing manufacturing improving. Peter Navarro mentioned that one of the indicators in manufacturing is the highest it's been since the pandemic. So a lot of positive things, a lot of positive news to point to here in also nationally, but also in the state of Florida, Ray.
Yeah, it is looking good. Hopefully, if rates do drop, that doesn't impact the inflation too much. But we're coming off a pretty bad time, that we had with the inflation. So I think coming out of all the hurricanes, we had in Florida, and still we're still feeling some of the effects of COVID, and that's slowly going away. So, I think we're coming out of a tough time, and, I think improvements are on the horizon.
You know what happened in New York, too, man? They just opened up one of the free, quote unquote, free grocery stores. Did you hear about that yet?
I have not.
I heard about it on another show. He says, yeah, they had this super long line. They ran out of tickets. People were getting frustrated. The stress levels were just rising. It was like palpitating out there. They gave them tickets, said, "Oh, come back at 1:30." They were out of certain items. So New York, it's going to be a perfect kind of a test case for Mondani the commie and all of his socialist, Marxist, communist policies. And here's a quick clip on him saying it himself, what he's forced to do.
And if we do not go down the first path, the city will be forced down a second, more harmful path. Faced with no other choice, the city would have to exercise the only revenue lever fully within our own control. We would have to raise property taxes.
Because you can't cut. You can't figure out how to cut, right? You can't get smart, cut some of the bureaucracy, cut off maybe some of your waste, fraud, and abuse like we're doing in Florida. Can't do that. You got to continue to raise taxes. And he goes on.
We would also be forced to raid our reserves. To balance the budget as required by law, our preliminary budget takes the only path within our control, the second path. The options of the second path are the options of last resort.
Yeah, right. So this is last resort, Ray. That's what he says up there.
Originally, I was born in New York. I was actually born in Long Island. I don't plan on ever going back. You always hope that the people in office do the best thing for the residents and for the community. The idea of the free grocery stores, that's a lot of people to feed. Things cost money, and, handouts never work. I look at my own kids. I've spoiled them rotten. Now it's hard to get them to do work for me.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're having their issues up there, and they're definitely having some growing pains because of the major changes he made. And, having family up there, I just hope the best for them.
Yeah, exactly. You find out quickly that in order for socialism and communism to work is, and you're giving out free things, at some point you run out of other people's money. That's the challenge. Correct. And then that's going to equate, this is the big unknown. This is the big factor, right? How many people are going to be leaving once those taxes start hitting, once these things start really compounding? And you saw recently, too, you see social media videos coming out. That's the beauty of the internet and social media, too, is you see this trash piled up on the sides of the road, snow, of course, there. What makes you want to stay? At some point, you got to figure, why am I staying here? Why am I dealing with this? And then people are moving to our state, and people are moving to the Carolinas and other places. So it'll be interesting to see how many actually end up moving down to Florida and the impact on our real estate, Ray.
Well, you know what? Come on down and please buy some houses and make sure you finance them so that you need an appraisal, because we're looking to work down here.
That's right.
When it happened in 2020, 21, 22, I'd never been so busy in my life. It was a great time down here. I know a lot of people were kind of taking that stance of Florida's full, don't come down. there's plenty of places down here. It's a great place to come to. I moved down here in 1988, and I think this will be my home for the rest of my life. So, it's if we can benefit off, some of the problems other states are having, great. But like we've always said, don't bring your problems and don't bring your politics.
That's right. That's right. And social media addiction trial begins. This is an interesting story. You see Zuckerberg being, pulled in to make statements, but social media addiction trial begins. Opening statements have begun in landmark trial accusing Meta, which is Instagram's parent company, and Google's YouTube, of deliberately designing their platforms to be addictive and seeking to hold them accountable for alleged harms to children. TikTok and Snapchat were originally named in the lawsuit and settled for an undisclosed amount. I wonder what that undisclosed amount was. That'll be kind of interesting to see how many zeros were behind that number. The case centers on KGM, a 19-year-old who was a minor when she said she became addicted to the social platforms. There were also 2 other plaintiffs, and it's a bellwether trial. So it's kind of a first-of-a-kind trial, Ray, with this social media addiction trial. What's your thoughts on that?
Honestly, my personal stance on that is, why are we going after the company and not the parents that allowed it to happen?
Yeah, personal responsibility, right?
Yeah. I've always been a big advocate for, accept responsibility for what you've done. Last time I got a speeding ticket, he pulled me over and said, why, why I pulled you over? I said, yep, I was speeding and you got me. And I've always been honest. I'm not going to try to get out of it. I'm going to take responsibility for what I did.
Yeah.
Using it as an opportunity for a money grab, I mean, I just don't agree with it. I think, we need to monitor what our kids do. We need to be part of their lives. We need to be interested in them. We need to ask them, what's going on, be part of their lives, be present.
Yeah.
And you won't have those issues.
Yeah.
So I kind of disagree with that. I get a little disappointed when people go after the big companies just to get a payday out of it.
Yeah. And you see it more and more. Another big problem too is that in Salem Media has some really awesome programs on salemnow.com, documentaries. But real quick here, because we're coming into a break, but don't let your children go to bed with their phone in their rooms, man. There was multiple cases now where these kids are getting caught up in these scams where the people have them send a picture, hey, I sent you my picture, send me your picture, graphic nudity. And then next thing you know, the kid shot himself in something like 36 minutes. He was so embarrassed and didn't see a way out, and he just killed himself in the middle of the night. I mean, it happens more and more. The number of cases that happens is unbelievable. So, somewhat related there, because some of these systems, some of these programs, these roadblocks or whatever they're called, they have back doors, and parents don't even know how they work. So don't let them go into their rooms in the evening with their phone. That would be just a rule number 1. Quick break, right back, more with Ray Hall. Ray Hall Appraisals, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. You're missing out, too, if you're not following us on social. We're putting out a lot of great content there at Brandon Rimes 1, at CQB Show. And please subscribe there on our YouTube Rumble channels as well. You got our podcast, Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back here. Quick break.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Tired of long lines at the airport? Check out Tampa Bay's premier private jet source. I'm Brandon Rimes for Will Smith Aviation. Aircraft management, acquisition, and sales, luxury jet escapes, and packages. Check them out online. WillSmithAviation.com. That's WillSmithAviation.com. Or call the show. I'll put you right in touch directly with Captain Will Smith. AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com for all of your non-woke, American-made products. American values, Christian, conservative American values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, online at DavidReynoldsJewelryandCoin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for Jason Coble, owner of Coble Law. Coble Law has been handling injury cases in Tampa for the past 14 years and has a specialized approach focused on limiting client cost and maximizing client profit. TampaWorkCompLaw.com, TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Jason Coble, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, personal injury law, and work comp law.
Hey, Brandon Rimes here for our friends at TargetSurveying.net. For all of your surveying needs, land surveying firm providing services for real estate since 1992, and they are statewide. Check them out online, TargetSurveying.net. That's TargetSurveying.net.
Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing? We would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show. Ray Hall Appraisals here on the program. Also, I want to hit this story, too. We had a local politician, the Pinellas County property appraiser. He added this tool now that's going to help people. It's called a transparency bill. We'll dive into that. It's really important when you're looking to try to come up with your monthly payment. So we'll talk about that here coming up with Ray Hall Appraisals, Consumer Quarterback Show. 5402 West US Highway 92. We got the bar for sale. This is Plant City. It's the Finish Line Saloon in Plant City. Owner is motivated. We just did a major price improvement down to $800,000. You can own your own bar. You got the coveted 4 COP license where you can take it to other locations. It's not. You can also sell packaged liquor there. You have 16 taps, ice machines, flat screen TVs, all kinds of good stuff. Jukebox, pool tables, website. 5402 West US Highway 92 in Plant City, Florida. A great opportunity to buy real estate right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Also, 10129 Little Road, another commercial property. This is another one of our commercial listings. This one is currently operating as a chiropractor, 2337 square feet, over an acre of land, professional medical business as well. You've got a plenty of parking here as well, circular driveway, new roof installed recently. Functional lit monument as well for high visibility. Imagine having your business name right out there with thousands of cars driving by. 10129 Little Road, Newport Richey, Florida. Another one of our beautiful listings. Platinum MVP Team. You can see all of our listings online at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And you can see all of our radio and TV show expert contributors at consumerqb.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Ray Hall. So I was mentioning how, when you go online and you're looking at your ad valorem taxes, what the tax bill is going to be, it's based a lot of times on that current owner. But a lot of new owners are in for a surprise. That number changes. So the Pinellas County property appraiser has put forward a transparency bill. Looks like it's going to pass through to eliminate some of that sticker shock, Ray. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I am. So when you purchase a property, it is going to change the assessed value of the house. Now, remember, that person who you're buying the house from, they may have been in there for 30 years and they've had their homestead exemption. So that caps the increases in assessed value. They've also had deductions for whatever reasons. So the assessed value on that house is probably substantially lower than what the market value is. Well, when you buy that house at your new sales price, they're going to increase that sales value, that assessed value, kind of based on that sale price, not dollar for dollar. It's not going to be exactly what you paid for it, but there is going to be an increase. Now, when you're kind of figuring out what your mortgage payment's going to be, you're adding in the principal, the interest, as well as the escrow. The escrow is what you pay every month to pay that insurance bill at the end of the year, as well as the tax bill at the end of the year. If you're estimating the escrow based on the prior owner's taxes, you're going to way underestimate what your payment is.
Right.
So I think this is a great tool that they're offering where homeowners can, or potential buyers, can go in, figure out what the assessed value can be within a variance, and better plan for that monthly mortgage payment, because that's a lot of times the largest bill you have every month.
That's right.
So I think it's a great thing he's doing for the people of Pinellas.
That's right. Ray Hall Appraisals. Hit him up online. You can find him RayHallAppraisals.com, RayHallAppraisals.com, and he'll help you put a value on your home as well. Ray, thanks for the conversation today, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
All right. Take care. All right. Hey, another great show. I want to thank Ray Hall. I want to thank also Jared Parker, our economist that was on the show. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.